Welcome, everybody. This is Jason, and the name of this week's workshop is Different Seasons. This is all about creating seasonal plants. So let's have a look. How are seasonal plants different from regular objects? Seasonal plants are multi-phase objects. That means that they depend on tree globals or plant globals to set the state depending on the season. And in this case, they have different GMDC and TXTR for each season. What's the best way to create a seasonal tree or plant recolor? Object Workshop is weird. It doesn't, when you just go to recolor the object, it doesn't pull the correct resources the first time that you recolor it. So in order to get around that, we clone the object and then just delete all of the resources that we're not using. So we only leave the MMAT, TXMT, and TXTR. So because there are so many great template objects, what I recommend is that you use one of the custom templates for cloning instead of the Maxis object. So we would just select open, clone the object as we normally would, and edit the OBJD and CTSS. For the mesh, we would need to start with a model that's already been split into trunk and foliage, like in the example here. So the trunk and foliage need to be separate subsets. And the same thing with the texture. We need to split the texture up into the bark or the trunk and the foliage. To clone the object, we clone from the appropriate seasons enabled template for the tree or the plant that we want to make. In this example, I'm using Tvickie's big cherry tree. The default cloning settings are fine. Just continue building the object as you normally would. We enter a new name into the scene graph rename wizard. We click update and we click OK. We generate a GID in the OBJD. We edit the CTSS if we need to. We commit and save, and then we start with the GMDC. So we select the GMDC in the resource tree, and then in the resource list, we sort descending. We can see that there's a base name, and then there are SWX01, SWX03, SWX04, and so on. Then in the GMDC, this is the base one, the one without the SWX and the numbers. This is summer. So we import the mesh and we replace as we normally would. And then we do the same with each other GMDC. So the SWX3, the SWX4, 5, and 6. And we just replace all of the meshes. In this case, I'm not using the branch, so I'd be getting rid of the branch subset. And then I would just go through, remove the branch from all of them. In this case, the tree hibiscus null, that is an opacity plane. That is where the tree drops its leaves. I'm going to leave that because there's a different way to turn off the Maxis leaves if you don't need them. Then we go to the TXTR and we sort descending in the resource list as we did before. And this time it's super easy because they're all labeled nicely. And also because we're not using branch, we would need to remove the TXTR for branch, the TXMT for branch, and the entry in each shape, SHPE for branch. But other than that, we just replace the textures. So we just replace the textures we normally would. We right click with build DXT, we commit, and we do that for all of the TXTR. Now, once you're done assembling, pop that open in Scene Graph Plus, make sure everything is hooked up correctly. This is an optional step, but it's something that I like to do. A note about the leaves. So the leaves are controlled in the leaf tuning beacon. If we just want to have the tree not drop leaves at all, we go to the leaf tuning beacon, we just set that to 0. So that turns out the leaf effect and the leaf opacity plane. If we want to make a recolor of that same object, we open the object in Object Workshop, we change the scene graph name in the scene graph rename wizard, update and OK. Then we click all res in the resource tree and we just shift select all of the resources that are not TXMT, MMAT, or TXTR. Then we right click and we delete those. Then we go to the TXTR in the resource tree And we select the first one in the resource list. We replace the texture as we normally would. We replace all of the textures, we commit, we save, and we're ready to go. This is how a recolor would look. You popped it open and looked at it in Scene Graph Plus. Everything is fine. Don't worry that the other TXMT are not connected. That should do it. If you've done everything correctly, you're going to have a multi-state tree. You can see how it looks different when the seasons change. In the winter, there are no leaves. And that's pretty much it. So we just pop open SimPE and we open Object Workshop as we normally would. We click on Open. And I don't want this test object. Let's go ahead and get rid of all of my tests. So we've got Tvickie, belligerent barrel cactus. So let's start with the big cherry tree, because this is the one that I'm going to make the tree from. So we open that. Then we don't mess with the cloning settings. We just click next. And I'm just going to call this Truffula tree. It's actually called a Chirachira. This is one of Retail Sim's OG alien plants, but I'm just going to call it Truffula tree for the purpose of the workshop. Let's make that about 115. So we do catalog name, catalog description, and price as we normally would. We finish. And this is we click update and we can see it updates all of the resource names. Then we click OK. And I'm just going to call this Truffula tree test. And let's select the OBJD. And we go over here and we go, I've already set up my GIDs on my spreadsheet, so I just copy that. Update all MMAT, update and commit. Okay, so we're good with the OBJD. Now, the original mesh that I have is huge. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to open it up. I Control A, then I scale, and I'm going to scale that down to, let's go 0.86 on all three axes. And very important, we select origin instead of center of mass. Hey, Rue, welcome.
Hello.
And we just scale. And that's a little bit too big, so I'm going to do that once more. So we've got kind of a medium-sized tree now. So we export. Come on. We export that as a wavefront. And just save that right over my previous export. Okay, so that's our mesh. I've already broken it up into groups, trunk and foliage. Now what we need to do, we go to the GMDC. We select the GMDC in the tree here, and then in the list, we click on the name header, so we're sorting descending. We select the first one, the one without the SWX after it, and this is for summer. So we import Truffula. The trunk replaces trunk, and the foliage replaces foliage. And we go to groups and we can just get rid of the branch. I don't have a branch subset for this. We preview, and you can see it looks weird because we haven't replaced the textures yet, but the mesh is correct. Then we go to SWX1. This is fall, I believe. So trunk, replace trunk. Foliage, replace, it has a different name here, foliage SWX01. Just like that. And then we go to groups and we get rid of the branch. Then we do the same thing in 3. We replace the trunk. We replace foliage SWX03. And we remove the branch. I'm going to leave the opacity plane for now. SWX04, we import Truffula, replace the trunk, replace the foliage. And then we get rid of the branch. And I know it's going to, don't worry, we're fixing the scene graph later. Don't panic. We will get to it. So we grab Truffula once more. We replace trunk. We replace foliage. We commit. And last one. Or wait, did I? No, I did not remove the branch. So we go to groups. We kill off branch. The branch is also season enabled, but I just don't have a branch subset for this one. I only have 2 subsets. So that's why we're getting rid of it. So we replace trunk and we replace foliage SWX06. And we go to groups and we delete branch. And let's just double check those to make sure that I got branch on all of them. Okay, no branches. Okay, before I get too far ahead of myself, let's go ahead and fix this scene graph. So we go to TXMT, we sort descending, and we've got a branch here. We've got a branch here, and I think there's one other. So I've got 3 branches. We just delete. And then we go to the TXTR. And we sort descending. We've got branch, branch, branch. And we just delete. Then we go to the SHPE. Select the first one. And we just delete that branch entry on each of these. Branch. 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 Okay, so we delete the branch entry. So we're not going to get any weirdness when we look at it in Scene Graph Plus. Okay, then we move on to the TXTR. We select that in the resource tree, and then in the resource list, it's already sorted descending. So we've got Truffula test fall. So we need the fall foliage for this. So we build DXT, we open, and it's in this folder where it says autumn. We just build, commit. Spring. We need spring foliage, build, commit. And then summer. So we need the summer foliage right there. We build, we commit. Then this is winter bear. And if you've seen the Lorax, In the winter, the truffula trees don't have leaves. So what I'm going to do, I just build the XT, and I'm going to replace this with just a blank texture. Because it's set to DXT5, it's already alpha enabled, so it's just going to appear as empty in that state. Same thing here, winter snow. We don't need to do anything special. We just replace that with an invisible texture. This is bark. So this is light snow bark. So I just go with the one that says winter. Building commit. Thick snow bark. So I've got one that says winter heavy snow. That's what I'm going to use here. And then, wait, did I mess up? Thick snow bark.
I think on the thick snow, you put the bark. So.
Yeah. Okay, I see what I did. Okay, crisis averted. Where is the regular bark texture? Did I delete it accidentally? Oh, I do have a summer bark. I didn't replace it yet. Duh. Okay, so we just do regular bark. Okay, while I'm here, let's double check to make sure these are correct. Okay. So we've done the GMDC, we've done the TXTR. The TXMTs are already good to go. We've got one last step. So we select the beacon. We select the one that says leaf tuning in the resource list, and we've got 01, which is on. So we just change that to 0. We commit, and we save. That's the tree. Any questions on the tree? Okay, moving on to the flower. I don't want to save that. So going to go ahead and go to Gaita Blossom. We open that, and I'm just going to select both of these because these aren't separate subsets. This is really cool. So I just rename that foliage. And save over Gaita. Now, the reason why I'm just regrouping these into one subset, the way that H. Changari mapped these, this is the mound, the dirt mound at the bottom of the blossom, and then all of these are this is the bulbs and the stem and all of that. So you can split up the texture instead of splitting up the mesh. You just leave the mound as one color and then the blossom as a different color. And because it's DXT5, it's alpha enabled. So when you replace the texture and it doesn't have anything in that part of the texture, it just won't apply it. It will be transparent. So let's do the flower. So we grab Tvickie's barrel cactus. We open. Next. Just going to call it Gaita Blossom Test and make it about 15. Rename my scene graph. Save it. And we go to the OBJD. We're just going to replace that. So I grab flower test. Very important update, all mmats and commit. Okay, we're done there. Now we move on to the GMDC and we select the base one. We import, we grab Gaitov, we just replace foliage. Commit. Foliage SWX1. And this is easy because all of them, the only subset for this flower is the foliage. It looks weird because we haven't done the textures yet. Okay, we're good to go. We don't need to keep previewing. We just replace the foliage on all of these. Okay, that's all 6. The flower is even easier because you only have one thing to deal with. You don't have heavy snow on this. So this is summer. So let's just do Gaitov summer, the red one. We'll start with the red one. And this is winter. Oh, there aren't even summer and fall. So this is winter bear. So we just got the little mound of dirt. This is winter light snow. I think I did that wrong because this is light snow. So this one should be with no snow. Winter no snow. And this is with heavy snow. Give that a quick save. Now let's double check this in our previews. So we go to TXMT, or sorry, we go to GMDC. Let's start with 6, which is heavy snow. And that's it. It's only, it looks like a hole there because the stalk is alpha'd out, but the mesh part is intact. The mound part is intact. And if we go to like 3, there it is. Okay, and that's it for the flower. The flower, we don't have a beacon. We don't need to mess with leaf tuning. So the flower is complete. Before I get any further, let's pop open SceneGraph Plus. Let's look at the tree first. This is grayed out because it's referencing a Maxis material. And then why is this? That's fine. Everything else seems fine. So let's have a look at the Gaita blossom. And everything is fine. Okay, we have built 2 meshes, a plant and a flower. Now, let's do the recolors. So we go, start over, we open, and it seems counterintuitive, but let's not worry too much about it. Let's do troubleshooting first. Next. We don't need to mess with this because we're going to delete the CTSS anyway. We just finish and we rename the scene graph. I'm going to call it R1. And R1. So we basically just cloned a whole ass plant. So we select all res. We're displaying all resources. And what we need to do, sort by type. So we've got TXTR, we're leaving that alone. Beacon, behave, CTSS, global. We just delete those. TXMT, we're not messing with those. The MMAT, we need to leave that. And everything else, we shift select, we right click, we delete. Give that a quick save. And we've only got 9 materials, 9 textures, and 1 MMAT left. So we sort those descending and we start with fall. We've already done the red troubleshooting. So I'm going to do blue this time. This is autumn, so we're using the autumn texture. Spring. Let's use the spring texture. Summer. Summer texture. And the bark remains the same. It's the same bark texture for both, so I'm not even messing with the bark, but just so that you can see what we're doing, all of those textures remained intact. And that's that recolor. Then once again, we start over, we open. This time, let's select the Gaita blossom. We don't need to mess with the description. We just let the file table do its thing. And then make that Gaita blossom R1. We update. And we save as Gaita blossom R1. We're doing exactly what we did before. Okay, so we select all res and we sort descending. So we're sorting by the type. So I got the TXTR. We're keeping those. Behave, CTSS, global. We don't need those. We keep the TXMT. We keep the MMAT. We shift select everything else. We right click and we delete. So this time we've got 1 MMAT, 6 TXMT, and 4 TXTR. What we need to concentrate on is the TXTR. So we got summer, and we're just going to leave the winter alone because these are just the snow textures for the mound. We don't really need to do anything there. So for the summer, we right click, we build, we open. That's not it. And let's just go with the summer texture. Commit. And we save. And we're ready to test. Okay, so I'm in game now, and it's currently winter, and you can see these are the winter states for both the tree and the flower and the recolors. There's no foliage at all. So, what if I do this? Pop down a season adjuster. Let's try summer. And let's turn off weather. And you can see now they're back to their normal state. Set season. Let's try fall. And it changed materials because the fall foliage is a little bit different from the summer foliage. And then set season. Let's try the spring foliage. So spring is season 4. There we go. Let's try winter once again, season 3. And you can have fun with this. There are a lot of different plants you can recreate as seasonal plants. So back to winter, and the foliage just pops off. It's there in the mesh. It's just alphaed out in the texture. So there it is. That's how you would create a seasonal plant.
So, what are like the main variances between a tree and like a bush or like a flower that's made seasonal? Is it like there's just no branch?
Hey,
Do they have
Rachel.
falling? Hey.
Um, so the tree has the leaf tuning. The bushes, I believe they might have leaf tuning, but I'm not sure. It's easiest just to turn that off in the beacon. And I think the flowers only have one subset, but we're going to be doing a tree and a flower today. So we will have a look at that.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so my only question is going to be working with textures. Um, I sort of created my own winter state texture by a smattering of snow everywhere. But for like snow accumulating on trees and branches and just making it look like it's not just covered in white stuff, that's kind of what I was really needing help with.
Okay, with the texturing as opposed to how to build the object.
Yes. So I struggled enough that I know how to, put things together. It's just making it look, but it's not, just like covered in flour, I guess. When you look,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Well, that is not in my wheelhouse. I can kind of texture, but probably wouldn't have much better results than you. All I can say is Google Photoshop tutorials on that subject. There are a lot of good Photoshop tutorials, or ask folks in this community who have experience with that, like the best way to go about that. Rachel, is that something that you would have expertise in?
What was the question?
She's asking about like the winter heavy snowfall for the branches or the winter heavy snowfall for the trunks. How do you texture those textures so that they don't look like just sifted flour?
Ooh, probably get a spatter brush of some sort for your photo editing program. Um, and then, do a layer, reduce the opacity, maybe do another layer with a little bit of different opacity, so it looks more smattered, not just like you said, flour. Like somebody threw a bucket of flour on it.
Right, like more organic.
Yeah, yeah, you want it to look more organic. I mean, that's what I would do personally, but I would just mess with it.
Okay.
You could
So
maybe ask SG the bee. They've helped me make textures for dirty states of objects, and they seem to do a lot of like retexture work.
okay.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
So there you have two good suggestions right there. Okay, so the Rachel regarding the flashing blue,
Uh-huh.
that is probably a plant that doesn't have seasonal states set up yet. So
So
for
it's like in the
example,
same season though, like within like the same season, it'll start flashing blue, and I'm thinking I don't, because that's why I'm like I'm not sure it's related to seasons because it's within the same season, and I think it just starts flashing blue all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, I have to delete you or something because suddenly you're flashing blue, but it's fine, and I think it might just be an overgrown state.
Rachel, I think it's the same concept. It's in the beehive. You're looking for something that's not existing.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I would just
So
remake.
it's all of these objects. They like a crafting station with used and unused state. It's like the BF tells you, it's in use, so display a different mesh and texture. But if the
Oh,
GMDC is not there, then I guess it's flashing blue. I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what it's going on.
Yeah. How about what would happen if you tried the plant that you're having an issue with, if you just extract the mesh and the texture and clone it and then rebuild it using one of Tvickie's templates and then try it
That would
again?
probably do it. Yeah, that would probably do it.
Because
That's a good idea.
I think that's what the issue is. It's flashing blue means that the shape is not finding the TXMT.
Yeah, I think so, because I can see the shape of the mesh. So it's the texture that's missing.
Not the texture, the material.
Yeah, sorry.